Okay. Early the next morning, you are all awakened by blinding light. The front door opened, and the rising sun is blazing in. It startles all of you awake. The bald man stands there, just looking at the sight of bodies all over the floor. Paxa says, "Been tenant, Vril." Vril looks around and says, "Perntudge," with disgust. He closes the door, goes into the bathroom. A moment later, music of stringed bowed instruments begins to play. Paxa seems unfazed. He yawns and then stands up, stretching. "No, leave me another estas rin. Ni regdivian sipon." It is now day 30, August 14th in the game. Now, Paxo obviously is a morning person. He begins just moving around and says some things, does some hand motions to let you know that it's time to go. Let's see. He punches a couple of buttons by the front door, ushers everybody out. Lost my place. Oh, once you're out, he closes it, punches in a combination. You're wanting to take note of that, I assume? Mm-hmm. Okay. You don't know if you'd be able to repeat it. In the daylight, outside the house, you can see that the house looks really decrepit. And there's piles of all kinds of scrap metals, huge wire bales, and various other materials just piled around the property. Once you guys get in the bus, Paxa starts it up. He punches a few buttons on the control panel. The gate opens, he drives through, and you set off for town, winding along dirt roads, seeing the very occasional house. Once you get out onto the real street, he makes a right. You pass many businesses. Of course, you can read none of the signs. Now that it's daytime, you see that this is a very small city. There are no tall buildings. You're obviously on some kind of main street on one edge of it. At the other edge, way that way, is a rise in elevation and a lot of woods. Trees as far as you can see, miles and miles of them. That is obviously where he collected you from. He eventually comes to a business with large windows all around it, and you can see many people inside eating at tables. He parks the bus and attempts to lead you in. You gonna go with him into the restaurant?
Yeah. Am I allowed my rifle?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Okay, yeah, let's settle this weapons thing. Obviously, you guys are not going to be walking around with weapons. Where are you leaving your weapons?
Can I, like, put my gun belt on under my jumpsuit?
No. You might be able to conceal your pistols somewhere in it, but, I mean, it's a jumpsuit. It's all one piece. I think it'd be pretty obvious you was packing iron.
I'll leave mine under the seat in the van.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So leave your weapons in the bus.
I could leave Bosk on the bus, too, just in case.
Yeah, just leave. I'm gonna take my wooden knife.
If you can fit it in your pocket, that's fine. I mean, you're walking into a McDonald's, for crying out loud. I don't think much can go wrong. The Space McDonald's, whatever it is. There is a counter manned by 3 people in yellow uniforms with hats with stripes of red, yellow, and blue. Above and behind them are menus, pictures of food with what you assume are descriptions and prices. He says to the gal, "Kivin metengo papkin virhajaj kapo." The girl has been curiously looking at the 4 of you. Then she comes to her senses when she realizes he spoke and begins punching buttons on a console in front of her. She says something to him. He reaches in his pocket, pulls out some coins of various sizes. He gives the young girl behind the counter some of the coins, and she hands a couple of small ones back. He then goes and sits down at a table. You guys gonna follow him over?
Yes.
Did he order us food?
Who knows? You are getting some curious looks from people. You are matching clothes that do not at all resemble what everyone else is wearing, and especially You're noticing a lot of curiosity about whatever it is you have clipped to your ear. Of course, being with Poxo and the way he looks doesn't exactly help you blend in either. And then Poxo is catching on that you're drawing attention. And he says, "Ro," but before he can finish, a voice from the counter calls out, "Poxo?" Yeah, he gets up quickly, grabs a bag and a tray with 5 small cups in it from the counter and leads you all out to the bus. Once you're in the bus, he reaches in the bag and pulls out a foil-wrapped, vaguely cylindrical object and holds up one of the cups. And he says, "Popkin." And he says, "Hoj." And he keeps one of each and hands the bag and the tray back to you guys.
All right, I'll open a pumpkin and start eating.
Okay. Yes, it's a fat cylindrical food object wrapped up in very flat white bread. It's therefore
Burrito?
it's a burrito. Okay, fair enough. Anybody want to talk about what might be in it? What's in a space breakfast burrito?
No.
I mean, maybe space eggs, space sausage. Yeah. So,
Vegetables we've never tried before.
hope you had your shots. He sits in the control seat, unwraps his popkin and takes a bite, sets the drink in a cup holder. Anybody want to taste the, what did he call what's in the cup?
Hodge.
Hoj.
Hodge.
So anybody want to be brave enough to be the first one to taste it? Oh, you will? Okay. It tastes like really strong tea, and the most noticeable flavor is almost sort of an oniony kind of a taste. So, kind of weird. Definitely not your dad's coffee, that's for sure. Poxo starts up the bus and drives away. Within a few turns, it's obvious that he's heading back up to the hilly woods.
We're all gonna have bad breath.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Give me
Quite
that bread.
possibly.
No, we're not trying to impress Poxo.
Yeah, no doubt. Your breath will probably still smell better than the rest of him. So. All right. So. A paved road through town leads up to a dirt road. After you're on that for a while, it leads to a wide trail, which leads to a narrow trail, which leads to, is there even a trail here? The bus bounces and shudders and trees scrape against the side. You know, the reverse of what you guys did getting out of here, only now it's daylight. Eventually, you are at the ship. Poxo turns off the bus, jumps out of the seat and goes running out the door and stands at the ramp, obviously eager to see the inside of a spaceship.
Okay. Well, I'll get out and we anyway need to check things
Well, he's
out.
a cheerful fella, isn't he?
I'll use the remote and open the ramp.
Okay? Now he will immediately start darting up the ramp. You okay with that?
I think that Bosk and Veronica should escort him,
Yeah.
and Harry and I can try to figure out what's wrong with the ship.
Or we could just show him around.
Yeah, you
like
could
a
show him
tour.
around, to give him a tour.
Okay, well the lip of the ramp doesn't even touch the ground before he jumps up onto it
Oh
and
my
runs
goodness.
in. He's saying all kinds of excited stuff you can't understand. He's gazing at everything in awe and wonder, moving from object to object, from site to site, practically running, and that's just the cargo bay. So you want to give him a tour, you said?
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll just shortcut and say that, when he first sees you open a door by pushing a button, he's just got to try it himself. He sits there and opens it and closes it and opens it and closes it and just giggles, you know. When you get to the bunkhouse, he tries out one of the bunks.
Oh, dear.
He stretches out on it and it's like he's thinking, I could totally get used to this life.
I should have shown him the misters.
That's what was next on my list, actually. He was fascinated by the mister until he hit a button and it came on, and then he backed away didn't know what was about to happen. When you guys get to the bridge, he takes a seat at the bridge and strikes a pose and says, "This kill me aspectus, cabo," and just smiles widely. He then spins around in the chair and I don't know, it's a little embarrassing. He seems to be pretending that he's flying the ship.
Oh dear.
But he's at contact. He doesn't seem to know any better. The dude is making sound effects and everything. He's going beep boop beep beep from the box over upon the pretty box beep boop, and he just giggles and giggles. This is obviously a very big life event for him.